Tourist sites are popular for a reason. Whether it's the Louvre in London, La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, the world's largest cheese store, or any museum downtown, there's always a crowd of people armed with cameras, open eyes, and the occasional fanny pack. Tourist sites have some claim to fame people find worthy enough of a couple hours and the cost of an admissions ticket. And I would agree that most of these places are worth the time, but it's important to recognize that if you attend, you are a tourist. And if you're a tourist, you equal dollar signs in the eyes of the owners of the attraction. Attraction owners try and squeeze as much money from the tourist as possible, and we as the tourists do not object. We have fallen into the tricky trap that taps into the pathos of the tourist. Memories. We are made to believe that if we want to remember our family vacation, you better believe we have to buy the t-shirt. Otherwise, that experience may just float off into oblivion and therefore doesn't count in the running tally of things we've done. The stuff we hoard from gift shops has essentially become a symbol for life. Society states that our existence is dictated by the stuff we have. Life is set up as a race for monetary success. Being rich is being successful, and the things we own compose our identities. Thus, gift shops are just an extension of this ideology. We must collect items from places we've been to prove our success. Our consumerist society has led us to believe that no matter where we go, we must be able to document it. We have taught ourselves that taking a piece of information, a story, or a memory away from an experience is not enough. We must physically take something from our excursion for it to count. Logically, we know a poster from Dylan's candy store has no use and won't better our lives, yet we purchase it anyways as a subconscious statement. A statement that screams, "I'm alive!" because I was there, and here is the poster to prove it. Gift shops are a microism of consumerism, and further, an example of the way consumerism allows the pursuit of money to override ethics, meaning consumerism paves the road to success by using gullible people for their money in the process. There are a few basic gift shop situations. 1. We purchase things from the gift shop that have little to do with the place we visited. For instance, an ashtray, golf balls, or jewelry from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. 2. We purchase paraphernalia with the name of the place plastered across it. We love to broadcast where we went on spring break on flip-flops, totes, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and any other place manufacturers can come up with. 3. We purchase products with no function, like miniatures of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, porcelain plates with the Windy City printed on the rim, or plastic keychains with the caricature of Mount Rushmore on it.
Is like my dad, after we went to the Eiffel Tower, he got like these spoons that were like really overpriced that had the Eiffel Tower in them, and I was like, what is the practical use of this? Like, you can't eat out of them. Like, they just have the Eiffel Tower in them. And they were like really cheaply made, but he like spent a lot of money on them for no reason, and now they just like sit in our house and don't do anything, and like nobody ever pays attention to them, but my dad at the time was like, these are awesome.
All three of these common cases prove the emotional tie tourists have towards gift shops. No matter what it is, they need to buy something to remember. We are tricked into thinking that our purchases are personal memories necessary for documentation of our lives. But how can something represent a personal memory if the thing we place so much meaning in was mass-produced and is sitting in the homes of thousands of other people? Again, it is not the rationality that gift shops target. It is the logicless emotional reaction that generates profit. And consumers are not consciously aware of this sly tactic. Several seniors agreed that the main reason they buy stuff is to remember.
If it has a name of it, like if it's like a t-shirt or something, I'll probably buy it to like remember that I was there, like have a little souvenir. T-shirts and keychains, magnets.
Books.
I guess they're just like to show that we've been to that place, and if we want to go look back, look through them, just to remember like our experiences there and how much fun it was.
Sadly, it's not our memory that is lacking and in need of help. It's our common sense. We really are not thinking, and when consumers don't think through their purchases, it's the corporations, be it gift shops or any store, that benefit. Why use your perfectly fine cups at home when you can buy a new plastic one with the San Francisco skyline on it? There really isn't a reason, yet there's a mental disconnect when it comes to buying, especially in gift shops. When emotions are targeted, logic falls to the wayside and we become gullible. The most gullible of consumers are children. Gift shops specifically targeted at them symbolize something slightly different. For kids, the gift shop symbolizes a bribe. We teach our kids that if they sit through a tour, they can get a stuffed animal on the way out. Thus, the point of museums and sites, like the Children's Museum, is completely lost. Learning is no longer the focus. The prize at the end is. Holden Caulfield of The Catcher in the Rye battles his obsession with untainted childhood and innocence throughout the entire book. He would have thought the idea of the Children's Museum was wonderful, for it is devoted to young kids exploring and learning. But, like the FU signs in Phoebe's school and the pressure he feels to have sex as a teenager, adulthood and adult motives have muddied even the Children's Museum. Holden views money as the bloodline of adult society. When he is nearing the end of his cash, he skips his change across the pond in an act of final separation. And when Phoebe loans him her Christmas money, she essentially invites him back into the world, back into the existence consumerism defines. Thus, in the case of the gift shop, adulthood has imposed upon childhood once again, for the shop's sole purpose is profit. Holden would be livid that children are manipulated to make a profit, even in an educational context such as a children's museum, because he values the naivety and innocence of childhood so greatly. Holden might also accuse the Children's Museum of prostituting themselves in the name of profit. You can't ignore the gift shop in the entranceway of the Children's Museum, even if you tried, but they claim to be much different than a typical toy store.
Yeah, well, what we try to do is we try to gear our merchandise in our store specifically for our audience, which first of all is going to be kids like 6 or 7 years and younger. We try to make it educational because, again, it's just not a play area. We want kids to learn. We try to tie it to each of our exhibits. So, for instance, we have special merchandise now for Galapagos Sands, but we try to also tie it into Bridges to the Community, Big Red Barn, things like that. And the purpose of it is so that kids can continue to learn once they leave the museum. So although they have an educational experience here, that continues when they go home.
Nice try, but you're no different. Ice cream-shaped putty teaches nothing except reminding kids of the unhealthy sugary dessert. Fish-shaped stuffed animals? Congratulations, you taught our kid what a fish looks like. And let's not forget about the dress-up books. Let's perpetuate the image of skinny, fashion-obsessed women and fairy tale princesses to our girls one more time, shall we? These items are no extension of the learning that the Children's Museum fosters. They are just the same as any other gift shop product, fairly useless, inexpensive. On the original take that the museum representative asked me to delete, he used the words "we target our audience." Not we play to our audience or tailor our merchandise toward our audience, but target. That is exactly what is happening. Young kids are susceptible to most messages. In fact, according to the book Affluenza, children under the age of 7 lack the perception to distinguish, quote, commercial motives from benign or benevolent ones, end quote. The same age range mentioned by the museum rep. And the message of the gift shop is buying more stuff is the true end to an experience. The experience alone is not enough. This creates generations of stuff-hungry, spoiled kids. Store owners know the power kids have over their parents' wallet and use it to their advantage. They don't care that the merchandise isn't functional or may even damage kids' values. All that matters is they gain bank. The book Affluenza also explains that the market has figured out a powerful strategy of, quote, portraying parents as fools and fuddy-duddies who aren't smart enough to realize their child's need for the products being sold, end quote. Pitting child against parent is evil, but effective. The book states, children's happiness does not come from stuff, but powerful forces keep trying to persuade America's parents that it does. These forces are working. Ever seen a kid cry until they got something at a gift shop? Yep, those forces are working.
Typically, kids kick and scream when they leave the museum anyway because they don't want to go because they had such a great time. But yeah, they always want to pick something out, something to take home. And again, it continues their visit. It proves to us they had a good time here, so they want to take that home with them. Yeah, there are parents that when they come to the museum, every time they need to buy their child something or they won't leave. We've also heard comments that we should sort of gate off the gift shop because kids want to come into the museum and immediately they want to go play with the things that are in the gift shop instead of going into the exhibit.
So, is it all worth it? The next time you enter a gift shop, enter at your own risk. Will you fall into the claim that your memory simply isn't good enough? Will you play into the stupid parent marketing technique? Or will you recognize the trap that it really is and be conscious about what you are buying?